fall is underway. Fish are starting to consolidate. We're just gonna cover some water right now and do a lot of looking. One thing that happens to the lakes around here is old turnover rears its head. A lot of times you can tell pretty much right away if turnover is occurring. It is not, fortunately for us. A lot of times turnover happens at different stages for different bodies of water. We're good here. Water's in the 50-degree area. A lot of these fish are gonna be in the basin. Big old crappies. This is the 2025 Impact. This belongs to Mr. Schubert here, and we're just giving it its maiden voyage on a little crappie mission. So we're gonna run through a few things on how we find crappies and hopefully catch a few. I love the fall. Look at those beauties. Yep. Right about there. See him coming? Mm-hmm. Oh, did you feel him?
No.
No? Oh my goodness. He was. Oh, he's still there. He's still there. Drop it down to him. Drop it down to him. Oh wait, does one have it? Way too cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, want me to net him? Look at those things. Oh, you have a good hook in them. Yep.
Look at that thing.
Nice. These heads get down so fast too. Those heads are so nice. That's a solid crappie.
That's a nice crappie.
Yeah. That's so cool. Just a random school of basin crappies out here floating around. You can see them. We have them 60 feet out. Not a giant school, but enough to keep our attention. We could tell as soon as we pulled up on them, Kobe and I kind of looked at each other and we're like, that's them. And I really want to stay back off of them too, because these things can get quite sensitive to presence. You just want to not push them too much, because if you start pushing on them too much, Brandon, you can get in there. We'll swap spots. If you start pushing on them too much, oh, this is a tank. They will like vacate the area. This is like a 15-inch crappie. Oh my gosh. That is a huge crappie. Look at that. That's just a giant crappie. These heads are so nice too, because that head will just dive right down super fast. That's a big thing. We luckily fortunate enough to not have any wind right now, but if you have a little bit of wind, that head just plummets right down to them. And one of the things that's been really kind of taking on like the bass world is you have those guppy style heads, and that's exactly what that is. Just that minnow styled head really delivers a nice presentation. That line tie is set back a little bit, so it kind of naturally wants to hang horizontal, especially if you were to tie like a little loop knot there or something. That bait's gonna hang nice and horizontal. So whether you're casting or just hanging it over the side of the boat, that's, you know, it's just a really good looking presentation. In clear water, that head with that eye, there's something about having a bait with an eye on it, I believe. I think it really keys the fish on like where they want to hit it. A lot of times, like your big predatory fish will hit that bait in the head. They like to key in on the head of a bait. And if you give them, you know, if you have a little eye here, and you can very much see that this is like a tail and a head. You really want those fish to, when they commit, when a fish is really trying to kill something, they go for the head. Like what Brandon just found right there. You got one. Yep. Nice. just hover that bait right over the top of those schools. A lot of times crappies will they're just suckers for coming up and biting something. They really like to feed up. I mean, that's what you're looking for. That's just your classic school of basin fish. They just congregate this time of year and they'll just roam around these basins and just hunt as a pack. I think I have one on me already. Oh, I'm not letting it fall far enough. Oh yeah, these are nice fish. Yep, those are the ones, yep. Golly, these are just specimens. Jump on there, Brandon. Like that 40 to 60 feet is like a good sweet spot. And they're not deep, you know, we're in 17 to 20 feet of water. So we're not that deep and these fish are suspended probably halfway down. But look at that. I love coming out here and doing this. Fall is just so much fun. We might put a couple of these in the box for a little bit of a fish fry later, but it's so fun to come out in the fall when you have a nice day and catch those fish. It's just so fun fishing off the front of the boat. You know, with this technology, I catch one, I can take it, unhook it, and Brandon's back up here staying right on them. I think you're missing some bites. Just wind it right through. Those tails are kicking. Yeah. Just get it up there and just slowly kind of wind it right through. Oh, he was glued to it. Yep, there you go. Oh my gosh. Look at that thing.
Hold that guy out for me.
And then he can take a side and I can jump on the front and they just alternate back and forth. It's such a fun way to fish because it's just it is so engaging, and I feel like you learn so much about what fish behavior, what kind of different fish and their behaviors through live scope. It's just like, we can stay off of the fish. It's just so effective. When you get on the hunt for basin fish, that's all they're doing is roaming. That's all they're doing is roaming. They get suspended off the bottom, and if you have fish that are any more than like 5 feet off the bottom, 100% that's all they're doing is just roaming. Now, if you find fish tight to the bottom, they're probably feeding. I'll kind of watch where the wind is blowing. Today, no wind, but the last couple days, we had a pretty good blow, and sometimes that will kind of shift fish to one side of the lake or another when you're dealing with basin crappies. So that's always something that, you know, I like to keep in mind, is just which way had the prevailing wind been blowing the last like 48 hours. Oh, that one pounded it. Oh, I gotta go easy. But that's one of the nice things. Like, I missed 2 fish right in a row. I set the hook and that bait is just perfectly fine. That little bait keeper and the Z-Man, like that Elastec, that, I've said this forever, that Elastec just takes an absolute beating and they eat it. So if you miss 2 of them in a row or whatever, I know my plastic is still in good shape to get a bite.
Look at that crappie.
Doubles! Doubles! That is a very, very large crappie. I know. Aren't they fun?
Holy smokes.
I got one too. I don't think it's nearly as big as that one. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Yeah. Pretty fun. Aren't those things pretty? Man. Cool. Super cool fish.
That one I caught.
We should have measured that,
thing
maybe.
was by
Oh my
far
God.
the biggest crappie I've ever caught.
Look at that thing.
Even this one, I mean, holy smokes. That is a big crappie.
Here, let's bump them. Let's see what we're dealing with. I mean, that's 14 all day. How long is that thing? Pinch his mouth, pinch his tail.
Over there.
Almost 16, 15 and a half.
I
My-
mean, that crappie.
Oh, I got one too. Brandon and I both have 7-foot rods. His is a 7-foot medium light. This is a 7.3 medium light also. But I really like a rod that's 7 foot or longer for crappies. See how parabolic this thing is too? These rods are medium light action rods. And these are big crappies. But I think it just helps keeping them pinned. Once you get a hook in them, that braided line really reinforces like a good solid hook set. Little shank of fluorocarbon, but that braid really helps drive the hook home. And then you have that, that medium to medium light action rod that really helps. If you look at that, I don't have to pull very hard and that thing just folds right over. When those crappies are down there wallowing around, that hook just finds its way into the lips, and then they have such papery mouths that once you get a hook in them, those lighter action medium parabolic rods just keeps the hook in them. It's not every day you get to catch crappies like this. It is fall. This is like the time to do it. It is the time of harvest.